Millions of people across France have taken to the streets. Pension reform is this year's hot-button topic. Unmissable and essential to the protest, women. Retirement reflects one's career. It also reveals a lifetime of inequality. Women's pensions are 40% lower than those of men. How does this happen? For French women, when is the die cast?
Oui, je te connais.
Comment ça va, ma belle?
Salut Jean-François. Bon, on va boire un coup. Pousse, pousse, pousse.
These three grandmothers in Marseille live below the poverty line, like 1 in 10 retirees.
Au 1er août 2006, 539 € par mois, tout compris. Ça te fait combien en tout à toi?
Ça doit faire dans les 800 €. C'est pareil, j'ai 900 € par mois, j'ai tout à payer, il me reste à la sortie, j'ai marqué, combien il me reste? 400 € pour vivre, pour le mois.
Je savais pas que c'était une cressonnière ici avant.
The result of a career with interruptions.
Moi, je me suis mariée.
I got married and my husband didn't want me to work. Then we had a kid and he wanted me to raise him. And I was keen on that. Plus, I didn't have too many qualifications. I worked in a shoe factory before. When my son got married, my husband told me I'm out because he wanted to live. He wanted to dance. So I went to ask for the minimum government aid available. Can you imagine? I was so ashamed.
La honte. Je m'en remets pas encore.
To get by, 72-year-old Martine still irons at home, despite a respiratory illness. And when that's not enough, her son helps her sometimes, discreetly.
He goes to the fridge, he sees there's nothing in there. He goes shopping, and he brings the groceries to me. It's embarrassing. It should be the other way around.
Martine used to clean in private homes up to 6 hours a day for decades, work that was undeclared and thus not taken into account for retirement.
I didn't give it a thought. When you're 25 or 30, you're not thinking about retirement because we don't know what life is going to throw at us. And then it's here. We were all in the same boat. We worked under the table. Our husbands had jobs. We took care of the children. That was the way it was.
Today, more women work declared jobs, but their income and then their pensions are always impacted by time devoted to domestic chores. 80% of part-time jobs are held by women. A typical example, not working on Wednesdays to take care of kids who don't have school that day. That's the case for Alexandra. She's a childcare assistant. Her job is to care for the babies of the hospital staff. And when she leaves the nursery, there's no time to waste. She has to rush home.
It's a second day of work that starts. Taking care of the children, cleaning, food, laundry, everything that women do on a daily basis.
Lorina, je vais chercher Léana à l'école. J'arrive.
After the birth of her second daughter, Eliana, Alexandra started working part-time. Her husband continued to work full-time.
Salut ma chérie, ça va?
This situation, meant to be temporary, became permanent a few years later when her youngest daughter was diagnosed with a disability.
On fait les devoirs à Ileana et...
Alexandra was unable to give her daughter the care she needed while working full-time. Women represent the vast majority of family caregivers.
C'était une obligation.
It was an
Parce que,
obligation because
entre les
between
pédopsychiatres,
child
les
psychiatrists,
psychomotriciennes,
psychomotor therapists, orthoptists,
les orthoptistes,
speech
les
therapists,
orthophonistes,
all
tous
these
ces
appointments
rendez-vous,
have to
pour
be
pouvoir les
made.
caler, le temps partiel,
If I wasn't working part-time, it would be
aujourd'hui,
impossible
si je
because
l'avais pas, ce serait
Wednesday
très
is the
compliqué parce
only
que
time to schedule all the
le
appointments for
mercredi, c'est
her.
là où je profite
It's
pour caler,
jam-packed,
tous mes rendez-vous,
and I'm rushing all the
mais
time.
c'est,
I have to be
à
very
la
organized.
demi-heure près, quoi. Je vais mettre ma tasse dans le lave-vaisselle.
Even with 20 years on the job, Alexandra only earns 1,700 euros a month. The majority of jobs in the service and personal care professions are held by women, and they are not well paid. Alexandra is not expecting much from her retirement.
Je sais pas ce que j'aurai.
I don't know what I'd actually end
J'ai
up
même pas
having.
fait la simulation,
I didn't
j'ai
even
rien
do
fait
the
du tout parce que
simulation
je me
because
dis,
it's really going to depress me more than
ça va me
anything
déprimer
else.
plutôt qu'autre chose. Lorena, tu descends, on y va, on va aller chercher ton bulletin. Je t'attends, à tout de suite.
Alexandra does not regret the time spent with her children.
Et on repart.
Still, she's told her daughters to choose a better paying job than the one she has.
Donc, on va prendre un moment tous ensemble.
But will little French girls really have a career that's different from those of their mothers and grandmothers?
D'un côté, il y a les garçons, d'un côté, il y a les filles. Vous allez y réfléchir et puis vous allez écrire les métiers que peuvent faire les filles. Honneur aux filles. Allez. Pâtissière. D'accord.
La vaisselle.
La vaisselle.
Femme de ménage.
Femme de ménage.
Pilote d'avion.
Pilote d'avion. T'avais pas écrit quelque chose avant?
Oui, que les filles pouvaient faire tous les métiers.
Ouais. Tous les métiers.
Estelle Mauger is a teacher in a poor suburb
tu as
of
pensé
Dijon.
à ce métier?
She tries to expand the field of possibilities for her elementary school students.
Celui qui était astronaute, Thomas Pesquet, vous vous rappelez, on en avait parlé. Eh ben, c'est une femme qui l'a remplacé. En fait, vous vous êtes fait des fausses images sur ce que pouvaient faire donc les hommes et les femmes. On appelle ça des stéréotypes, en fait. On se fait des fausses idées. On a bien vu que quelques élèves, justement,
We saw that some students said that careers were for everyone.
Sa fille garçon, on avait le droit de choisir.
Girls and boys
Mais
both had the
est-ce que
right to
ça va
choose.
vraiment se passer,
But
dans
is
leur
that
vie
really
d'adulte?
going to happen in their
Quel
adult
choix elles vont
lives?
faire, en fait?
Will that really
Qu'est-ce qui
happen
va
for
se
the
passer
girls?
réellement pour elles?
There's a difference
Il y a une
between
différence
theory and
entre la théorie
practice,
et la pratique, exactement, ouais.
because
Parce que
saying is not
dire, c'est ne
doing,
pas faire, forcément.
and they
Et,
will
elles vont
sometimes
se
come up
heurter
against
parfois
other
à des
obligations such as
obligations
family.
autres, telles que
Who
la
will take
famille.
care of the children?
Voilà. Qui c'est qui va s'occuper des enfants? L'atelier de ce matin, parce que
In theory, at least, little girls have an asset. In this class, like in the national average, they are better students than the boys.
Good. Alors, on va
They aim for perfection to satisfy authority figures.
et on va faire. On remarque justement.
We notice in
souvent au niveau
class
des
at this
classes
level
que
that the
les
girls
filles,
are always
bah,
working
elles
to
font toujours
please.
faire plaisir.
They like to work for the
Elles
teacher,
aiment,
for their
bien
mother or
travailler pour
father,
la maîtresse ou pour la
contrary to the
maman,
boys
pour
who
le
tend to be
papa.
more
Contrairement aux
selfish.
garçons qui
I
souhaitent
say that
plus
with quotation
d'égoïsme,
marks,
entre
but
guillemets,
it's that
moi,
they
qui
think
pensent
less
moins
about
ça,
making me
à me
happy.
faire plaisir.
They work for
Eux, ils travaillent
themselves.
rien que pour eux. C'est
It's
quelque
something
chose
that
qu'on
we
remarque
notice daily, and it's a real
quotidiennement.
difference
C'est vraiment
between
un
the girls
clivage
and
entre les
boys.
filles et les garçons. Allez, on se range là-bas.
This good girl syndrome, though, becomes a hindrance once they enter the job market. At work, those girls who are now women still seek the approval of their boss, even if that means putting their financial interests second. Carol, a single mother, has been fighting this good girl syndrome since she joined the bank at 19. On several occasions, she dared to negotiate her salary, but she never pushed for too much, afraid of disappointing.
Fear of displeasing, fear of being taken for the troublemaker who demands, who complains, and who needs to be in conflict with a boss or with a manager.
A few months ago, Carol was about to take a new job after almost 20 years working. She decided to call a salary coach. Insaf El Hassini prepares women to negotiate their pay package.
émotionnelles liées aux discussions autour de l'argent.
Carol arrived with an idea of her worth that was much less than what she deserved, with her experience, etc., and that's very typical of women.
Et ça, c'est très symptomatique des femmes. Si tu te rappelles bien,
If you remember, using the facts, you helped me to decide on a high pay bracket that even I found to be high.
Too high, even.
It showed there was a problem. Am I worth it? Am I going to dare to say it? You have to be comfortable with it. And even after saying yes, I had to go and say it and possibly deal with the reaction of a person whose eyes may pop.
I think it's necessary that companies decide to pay women instead of allocating massive budgets for internal communication and pinkwashing. Let's just use this budget to reduce salary inequalities. The overall average of the women I coach get a 20% increase in pay, but there are many who make 50 to 60% more. Do you realize how long this means that they've been underpaid?
Bon, bah, high five, hein. Santé, ouais.
In the end, Carole was hired at a salary 20% more than the one she had initially envisioned. On average, French women earn 16% less than their male counterparts. The hundreds or thousands of euros difference in each pay slip, multiplied over the course of a long career, adds up to a significant difference in pension amounts and puts women at a big financial disadvantage once they retire.